Utah State, 86-76 over Villanova. Aggies force Villanova just 1 of 10 from the field to end the second half. And Utah State, what a W, what a win, what a moment. Mason Falslev throws horns up to the crowd that's here as Utah State celebrating a victory. They don't come often here in the NCAA tournament, as Jerrod Calhoun mobbed by his team as he does his post-game interview. A cool moment for Utah State as the Aggies are going to walk out of here with a victory and get set for a showdown against Arizona coming up on Sunday. Aggies went so many games without winning a conference tournament. Now they've got to win, as Drake Allen will throw on a headset here. What a game for Drake Allen. Hey, tell you what, it wasn't easy. You get it done, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Walk us through that second half.
Oh.
You're down by as many as 10,
Man.
and you're thinking, uh-oh, we might be in trouble. They can't miss from beyond the three-point line. How did you guys keep your composure?
Yeah, never in trouble. I don't think we ever felt that way. When we got down 10, it was just because of us. Our turnovers. They weren't doing anything crazy, We turned the ball over in the first 3 possessions. Of course, teams are going to thrive on that. Good teams do. So we decided to settle down, take a breather, but Coach told us, he has full confidence in us that, we're going to get out there and get it back. And that's what we did.
You end up with 6 assists on the night tonight.
Yep.
You assist on so many of these made field goals tonight for Utah State. Talk us through that offense, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I feel like we've been pretty good offensively, all year. So it's always been our defensive struggle. And I think that we just did a great job of moving the ball tonight. I don't know how many assists we had, but it felt like we had a lot of assisted baskets. And that's when we're at our best, and we're playing together and we're connected.
You ended up with 16 assists on 26 made field goals tonight. You get Arizona, but you got to enjoy this one a little bit here.
Yeah, we'll enjoy it for an hour or two, and then
Yes,
we get back
sir.
to the hotel. We got to get the scout. We got to get the recovery. And then, we're not backing down from anybody, so we're excited for the challenge.
How does it feel? Get that NCAA tournament
Oh,
win.
it feels amazing, especially after last year. We didn't show out for the fans, the people in Logan, the school. I felt like we let them down. So it feels good to give them one, but we want to give them another.
Go enjoy that locker room,
Yes,
man.
sir. Thanks, Scotty.
Happy.
Yep.
All right, there he is, Drake Allen. Utah State gets the 10-point victory, 86-76. And the Aggies dancing still here in San Diego. All right, we'll take a break. Come back. We'll kick off your post-game show next. Aggies get the win tonight, 86-76 over Villanova on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield.
What if we told you there's an onion that won't make you cry? Introducing Smiley's onions, grown right here in northern Utah. Smiley's aren't just sweet and full of flavor, they're also an onion that keeps you from crying. That means no more watery eyes, no goggles, and no more kitchen hacks. Smiley's onions are the perfect kitchen companion to keep your eyes and taste buds happy. Look for Smiley's in the sweet onion aisle. Just spot the pink Smiley's packaging to take home a taste of Utah's best. Learn more at Smiley'sOnions.com.
Sign Pro is a proud supporter of Utah State Athletics and the preferred signage partner for all Utah State athletic venues. Whether you know exactly what you want or you have no idea, the design pros at Sign Pro have years of experience in turning customer visions into realities. No matter how big or small the project is, Sign Pro can get it done. Call us at 435-787-1999 for a quote on your next project.
D.L. Evans Bank, banking with a local touch. We can't wait to welcome you to a better way of banking. Come join us on this exciting journey right here in Utah. Whether you're saving for that cabin in the mountains or starting a new venture, D.L. Evans Bank has the tools and expertise to help you succeed. And with our convenient online banking, managing your finances is a breeze. D.L. Evans Bank, community banking since 1904.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
on the Aggie Sports Network. From Learfield, Aggie basketball has been brought to you by Sports Academy and Racket Club. Your club, your results, your life. Zions Bank. For 150 years of helping you succeed, Zions Bank is for you. Ford. Build Ford proud. Also by Stokes. Stokes Trucking. Doing the right thing since 1979. Welcome to Aggie Postgame from the All-in-One Flooring America radio booth. Here's Scott Jerrod.
Well, folks, those never get old. NCAA tournament victory. Utah State went so long without getting an NCAA tournament victory, from 2001 all the way to 2 years ago in 2024. But the Aggies able to get it and get the victory. Today's postgame show brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Brandon Jensen. Contact Brandon right now, 435-752-4800. It's your future. Let's protect it. Well, the Aggies protect their run on this season. One more game, at least one more game, as they will take on top-seeded Arizona. As soon as we find out when that game starts, we'll let you know. Some of you probably already know. I'm just, frankly, right now on Twitter hoping to find out anything. But Utah State just, you know what? There was a moment there where it just didn't feel like it was going to be your day, where Villanova's cranking threes right and left. It just doesn't feel like Utah State was going to be able to find a way to hold on and get themselves back in the game. They trailed by 10 after Villanova went on a 9-1 run to start the second half. But the Aggies settled in and just trimmed away, cut, and then finally got it done. What a win tonight for Utah State. So many great players as well. We just had a chance to chat with Drake Allen. Fired up for him as Utah State now on their way to the next round of the NCAA tournament. We'll take our podium feed coming up here in just a moment as well. You'll be able to hear from Jerrod Calhoun and more of the players and coaches. There were some really great moments in this game. MJ Collins hit some big shots down the stretch. Mason Falslev there for the first part of that second half was absolutely critical for the run of Utah State to be able to come back and take that lead. I mean, look, Mason's the face of this team, and that he's the one that makes it go. And when he had to step up and say, okay, you know what, it's up to me, I got to do it, he did just that. And Utah State now on their way into the next round of the NCAA tournament. Game's over, but safety isn't. Buckle up before you head home. It's brought to you by the Bear River Health Department, as Utah State going to smile all their way to Sunday here in San Diego. Arizona's good, folks. Make no mistake. Utah State's got their work cut out for them. But now you got an Aggie team that's just going to say, hey, you know what? Nobody really expected us to make it this far, so why not? Utah State showing that the 9 seed, I think that's, and Christian, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the 9 seed's 3 for 3 so far in the tournament. So you've got all 3 9 seeds who have played so far have won. And so I think there's one more left to go. But as for Utah State, you got to have a big smile on your face knowing that you keep that 3 seed run going in the NCAA tournament. Dex Imaging, the nation's largest independent business solution provider, selling and servicing the broadest selection of copiers, printers, and data security solutions. Learn more at deximaging.com. Aggies get the win tonight. Final score, 86-76. Aggies punching their ticket to the next round of the NCAAs. We'll take a break, come back, and hopefully hear from more of the players and coaches right here on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm here with Mason Falslev and his fiance, Elle. Guys, tell us about your experience with S.E. Needham Jewelers.
I just love that Mason gave me a ring.
Oh my gosh.
I love that we're engaged.
Yeah, she does love it. For every girl out there that's kind of picky, like my fiance, you know, they were able to customize the ring and do everything that she wanted.
They made it so personal. Like, I felt like they really cared about me when I came in here. Everybody was super quick to come and help me.
You'll find the perfect ring for the perfect person at S.E. Needham Jewelers. S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged.
Passion, enthusiasm, extraordinary skill. Isn't that what you want from a chef? From salads to seafood, wood-fired pizzas to unique pastas and succulent steaks, the Elements Restaurant chefs have spent hours creating choices for you. A casual dining experience for lunch or dinner with daily specials and menu choices that always deliver excellence. The Elements is a complete dining experience for everyday dining and for special occasions in your life. Appreciate elevated simplicity. Only at the Elements Restaurant, 750-5171.
Need a great deal near USU? Mention Aggie 79 and score a room at the Baum Motel for just $79. Enjoy charming, homey hospitality in downtown Logan. You'll love the clean, spacious rooms and friendly, attentive staff. Take advantage of free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and a seasonal outdoor pool. At that price, it can't be beat. $79 rooms with Aggie 79 at the Baum Motel. Value every day of the week. Call 435-752-5220. That's 752-5220.
Bring the kids and join us for a free community Easter egg hunt at Serenoni. Wednesday, March 25th from 11 to 1 at our store on 10th West next to iFit in Logan. Kids can enjoy an Easter egg hunt filled with candy and prizes, a fun Easter craft, plus free treats and sodas for the family. We'll also have raffles with big prizes from Serenoni and other amazing brands. And while you're there, enjoy our Easter sale with 20% off store-wide. Come celebrate spring with us Wednesday the 25th at Serenoni.
Aggie Sports coverage is sponsored in part by LSS Insurance Agency, your local Medicare and Social Security experts on News Talk KVNU, where Utah State is always number one.
Defense. Coach came in halftime. You know, we was in a good spot, down 2. We weren't making threes, so we knew we had to rely on our defense. And you know, it kind of carried us over in the second half. That's what we're known for. Getting our offense based off our defense. You know, we switched up a couple coverages late in the game, and it kind of messed them up. And, you know, they were kind of stagnant, and we executed off of it.
Jason Walker with Cash Valley Daily. This is for Drake. When a team makes 14 three-pointers against you, just how do you try to adjust to that while not then giving up a lot of points in the paint?
Yeah, I think it's a testament to Villanova. They're a very good basketball team, and I think, you know, they made some threes that were contested, and sometimes we made errors and gave them some open ones, right? So we knew they were going to shoot a lot of threes, and I think it just, you know, we got lost a couple times. But all you can do is keep battling. You know, you can't throw your hands up in the air. You can't say, oh, my goodness. You know, you just got to move on to the next play and keep on fighting.
Lorenzo Reyna with Clutch Points. Question for MJ. Utah State led the Mountain West in fast break points. I mean, did you feel like that Villanova started to wear down once your guys' transition game started clicking?
Yeah, for sure. I know we came in the huddle, and Coach was like, they're wearing down. You know, we strive off our depth, and, you know, they played 7, 8 guys. So we knew at some point they were going to wear down. And, you know, they shot the cover off the ball early. And, you know, you can't really maintain that for a whole 40 minutes.
Sean Harrison with the Herald Journal. Adlin, kind of talk about some of those plays in that first half. It seemed like you really got the crowd going with some of those dunks.
Yeah, that was really just me feeding off our defense and the energy from the rest of the guys, and the guys finding me in the right spots. I was just trying to run the floor as hard as I could and just cut, really.
Lorenzo Reyna again with Clutch Points. This question is for you, Coach. I mean, if I remember correctly, Utah State hasn't defeated a Big East team in the tournament. So what do you feel like, how do you feel like this victory means for the program moving forward, and how monumental was this victory?
Yeah, I mean, it started a couple weeks ago. We went into the conference tournament after we won the regular season, and we talked about having a revenge tour. You know, we were playing 3 teams in the Mount West that had just beaten us, so it matched up pretty well, you know, and sometimes I think messaging by coaches, it's really important. You know, we message a lot. You know, we have pregame talks from former Aggies. You know, we do a lot of former coaches, our donor base. And, you know, I think the message was we can still play better basketball. So we went to the Mount West tournament, and I felt like our defense took it up another notch. And we did not like our seed. We were not too fond of being a 9 seed. We won 28 games. We won the regular season title. We won the tournament title. So when this team has an edge and they play, you know, with a little bit of swagger and a little bit of toughness and resilience, we can cause a lot of problems. You know, this defense was originated from Ralph Willard, Kevin's father, and it's hard to play against. So I think, as MJ said, we didn't want to overreact to the threes, but we felt like the game would loosen up eventually. And you saw MJ made some big steals. Mason, Adlin, Drake, their activity, KT's activity defensively, I thought was the difference.
All right, we're going to keep it to student athletes for right now. Thank you.
Jay Posner with the San Diego Union Tribune. MJ, you struggled at the line today. You looked frustrated a couple times with the misses. Can you talk about what was going on there, and then also what happened? Take us through the couple steals and breakaways that you had at the end of the game.
The ball was a little too pumped up for me. But I had to lock in. It was winning time, so the ball started to go in, and then the steals. Just reading the game. I knew we had 2 on the ball. I knew I think it was 5 was standing right there, so I just ran over. There was nowhere he could throw it to except to me, so I ran, grabbed it, and went and dunked it.
That back-to-back or behind-the-back move many times?
Oh, I forgot about that one. I've been playing 2K a lot lately, so, just the natural instinct kind of took over and won.
Mark Greenwood with the Utah Statesman. For both MJ and Mason, you guys really took over in the second half, 16-point seats in the second half. Really felt like, especially down the stretch, final 6 minutes or so, it was kind of you two trying to take over the game. Just kind of what you see in that final few minutes that allowed you to do that?
Obviously, it was a struggle to get the ball to go in the basket, but once a few go in, you gain more confidence. And honestly, shout out to the point guards. They executed great today. Drake and EP, they just put the ball in the right spot and allowed us to kind of do our thing.
Garrett Lash from Mid-Major Madness. You guys had the paint point edge for most of the game, so ended up plus 16. So could you talk about, was that part of the strategy for playing against these guys?
Yeah, I think that, when shots aren't falling, you gotta get to the paint, right? And I think we're a really good team when we demand the paint, and then usually that, ends up being giving you a chance to kick out for good threes instead of, bad shots. And we settled a couple times today, and but we're confident in our guys shooting shots, but they're just better when we get in the paint. We play off 2 feet. And these two demand the paint. This guy flies around. We're hard to beat.
Eric Orwara with The Athletic. Coach mentioned just now and also yesterday how important messaging is to you guys. And we talked yesterday about the revenge tour, during the conference tournament. What is a message that Coach or, you guys have guests come in has said to you guys early in this season that has stuck with you guys? And how important is that, those pre-game speeches you guys get to hear?
One of the things that always stuck out to me is Coach always says you only have one life. Might as well make it great. So, I always just think about that. We really do have limited time on the earth, so might as well do something great and be a part of something great.
Coach always talks about, especially us seniors, us older guys, he talks about we got to be desperate. This is our last go, really. And then, we're going to be out playing pro, playing overseas, wherever we're going to be. So he always talks about us being desperate, and I think that it showed tonight. We were desperate in the last 10 minutes to get a win.
Mark Greenwood with the Utah Statesman again. You guys went into the under 4 media timeout with 3:54 left, down 2. MJ came out and hit 2 free throws to tie it, but you ended up going, I think it was a 15-5 run, something like that, to close the game. Just what was kind of the discussion in the huddle in that under 4 media timeout?
No plays, just run and flow and do what we do. We've learned concepts all year that should set us up for good offense, so just trusting in that down the stretch.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. All right, continuing with Coach.
Jason Walker with Cash Philly Daily. Coach, can you just walk us through some of the late defense where Villanova really trying to work that pick and roll game, get Brennan in the paint, try and create space for their guards with that ball screen?
Yeah,
action?
they're a handful in pick and rolls. That's a typical Villanova team. Jay Wright was one of my heroes. When I was coming up through the ranks, I just loved his demeanor. I loved his ability to have 4 guard lineups, and they put a ton of pressure on you. Duke Brannon is a tremendous player, but what he does is he's a great screener. He creates advantages at the point of attack that, not a lot of basketball fans realize. He's setting those guards up. So we switched the pick and roll, and then we brought the big in from the corner to meet the roll sometimes. And I think the last 7 minutes, they played one-on-one more than just getting to the next advantage. I thought that was a crucial adjustment throughout the last 7 minutes.
Mark Ziegler, San Diego Union Tribune. You're kind of in a unique position where every time you win a game in this tournament, you're making money for a conference that your school decided to leave. Is that a weird spot to be in?
It's as I said last week when we won the Mountain West, Nico and Gloria treated me great. Our university has great history in the Mountain West. This is a very bittersweet deal, but there's change in college athletics. In each university, each president, each board, each athletic director has big decisions to make. They talk about how tough it is to be a coach, but how about the administrators? I think these administrators got really tough jobs as well. Everybody's trying to navigate through what makes sense. I think what made sense for us was obviously going to the Pac-12. You get a chance with Gonzaga and some of these different teams, and obviously the great teams in our league that are going. But it was sad. Last week in Vegas, it was really difficult. But we want to represent Utah State, right? I mean, obviously, whatever happens with the money happens. That's out of our pay grade. But we're the third team in program history to win a tournament game. We're the first team in program history to win a regular season title and a tournament title in the Mountain West. So this team's got a lot of character, and I think that's what makes this team pretty special.
Jeff Hunter with the Deseret News. Jerrod, I know you want to talk about the players and what they did, but obviously this is your first victory in the NCAA Tournament. Can you talk a little bit about that journey to get to this point and the difference between now and a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody's story's different. Our pregame talk today was Bobby Wagner. I think he's 64 tackles away from being the all-time tackle leader in NFL history, right? His story's unbelievable. There's a lot of great Aggies. There's a lot of great coaches. Everybody's story, everybody's past, all of you guys here, had to take some risks, had to take some chances. Mine was leaving West Virginia to take a Division II job. I don't know if there's another coach in the country that would have done that. We had a $30 million practice facility in the Big East, and I wanted to be a head coach. And I went down the road to Fairmont State and started my journey with Joe Mazzulla and Paul Molinari and Mantoris Robinson, and here we are. So when I get asked to speak at clinics, when people email me or call me, I always try to respond because I think there's a lot of great young coaches out there that could use some inspiration. And it's not about me at this point. It's about surviving in advance. But that was the turning point for me. And I always dreamed of this, watching guys like, Jay Wright and all the great coaches in the NCAA tournament. And to get the first one, it's special. But hopefully, we can get many more.
Sean Harrison with the Herald Journal. Coach, can you talk a little bit about that? The start of the second half obviously didn't start like you wanted it to. The timeout, and then, but your team within 4 or 5 minutes, you're back, have it tied up again.
Yeah, it was kind of a up and down game, right? We didn't value the possessions. There's certain points in a game where you gotta win the margins, right? It's right before halftime, coming out of halftime. We've been unbelievable in after timeout plays and coming out of the timeout. And really coming out of halftime in general, Sean. You've covered now how many games, and that was very uncharacteristic for us. So I thought as coaches, if we hit the panic button, our players would too. They stayed the course, and we kept chopping it down and eventually tied it and eventually kept the lead. So I give our guys a lot of credit. We'll go back and look at that tonight. And you just got to value possessions, this time of year. Everyone is so critical.
Gorawara with The Athletic. Coach, yesterday you and your players talked about playing with an edge. Can you talk about how they did that today in the last almost 13 minutes, you guys missed only 2 shots. So can you just talk about the grit and playing with an edge?
Yeah, I mean, I've got two tremendous, really, I got a lot of tremendous basketball coaches on my staff. Eric Hout just accepted the Tarleton State job. You know, I thought that was a home run hire by them. You know, so many athletic directors look to hire Power 4 conference, assistant coaches. It's much different at our level. We don't have $10 and $12 million to deal with, right? So we've got to be really creative in our schemes, and I thought him and Johnny Hill had the scout. He played for Matt Painter. Johnny's a great defensive coach, and the attention to detail, the pass battles, trying to deflect passes, switching our defenses, you got to give the credit to those 2 guys. And then I thought offensively the other 3 assistants were tremendous in the timeouts. But it's rebounding, winning the rebounding margin, and winning those pass battles is what we talk about with our guys.
Sorry, I'm seeing that's coffee in front of you. And yesterday you said you're going to challenge Coach Willard to a battle of who can drink more coffee. What is the next 2 days going to look like for you in terms of preparation for Sunday against Arizona?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to at least watch 7 games. So that requires probably 10, 12 hours of work. I mean, if you're really working at this thing. So you got to get to your room. I have a connecting room. Coach Massimino taught me that years ago. He used to do that on our trips. His wife would have a connector. So you could stay up and watch the tape and really dissect Arizona. It's going to be a tremendous challenge. Tommy Lloyd, I think, is one of the best coaches in the country. They got the 1 seed for a reason. I love the way they play. There's very few college basketball teams I enjoy watching play. I would rather watch Europe or the Boston Celtics, to be honest with you. But Tommy's probably one of the 5 teams I really enjoy watching. I think he creates space for his players. He's done a tremendous job playing big. It's hard to do in today's landscape, and I think their players really know how to play. Coffee is going to be flowing tonight. But there's a lot of other coaches that would love to be in this position. And I want to do everything in my power to make sure our guys are prepared. And we got a lot to do tonight.
Jay Posner with the Union Tribune here. What was Bobby's message to the team before the game?
You know, we've had Jordan Love, we've had Bobby Wagner, we've had Sam Merrill, we've had Joe Mazzulla. What I try to do is create a family atmosphere. We've done this since Coach Massimino's days, Coach Huggins, Coach Young at Walsh, my high school coach, Ted Kwasniak. You take something from every single coach that you worked for or played for, right? Everyone's got great strengths. And one thing was messaging. And so every game after we eat, we have a pregame message. And Bobby Wagner's was Make Aggie Nation Proud. I think we've had some unbelievable ones. Last week with Jim Lobb talking about character, how far character can go. Character can be one of the biggest components in sports. If you got great character, you're connected, you got a chance. And that's what we've been able to do. But Bobby, was fired up, and hopefully maybe he can make the game here against the Wildcats.
Final question.
Garrett Lashman, Major Madness. Coach, the last 3 coaches in the last 4 or 5 years have had some great success here, taking the team to the tournament. Obviously, you've added another chapter to that. Could you kind of talk about how you've been able to balance just keeping the momentum of a great program like Utah State while also putting in your own philosophy into being a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think every coach has his strengths and weaknesses. You got to surround yourself with people that can help you with your weaknesses. When I got the job 2 years ago, we really sold the fact that we're going to run great offense. We've been one of the better offensive teams in the country. We're going to be very disruptive defensively. We're going to be different. But we're going to have guys that put the team over winning, over themselves, and they care about winning. When we're talking to recruits, if they don't talk about winning, we don't really mess with those guys. We talk about we over me a lot. We don't have a bunch of buzz, words, but we put winning at the forefront. I'm very close with Stu Morrill, very close with Danny Sprinkle. Those guys have talked about a lot with Utah State, sitting in the chair. Both those guys are personal friends, and I knew what I was getting myself going into Logan, Utah. It's a storied program. It's a pressure cooker job. You need to win. You need to win at a high level. But I think what we've been able to do over 2 years is really get in the community. We've poured ourselves into Logan, my family and I, our assistants, our administration, our players. And when you play for something bigger than yourself and you're coaching for something bigger than yourself, you got a chance to go a long way. And that's what this group's been able to do. But you got to rely on others, at times.
Thanks,
you,
Coach. Appreciate it.
The home of Aggie basketball, with pregame beginning 1 hour before tip-off and postgame interviews and Aggie call after the game on News Talk KVNU Logan. You were there, you watched the game, or you heard it all here on KVNU. So now it's your chance to give your thoughts and ask your questions about the action as KVNU Aggie Game Day continues with Aggie Call. The phone line is 435-753-KVNU. The text line is 435-554-1175. It's KVNU Aggie Call with J.D. Walker and Stockton Jukes.
It is a beautiful Friday afternoon in Logan, Utah. Happy 5 o'clock freedom, folks. 78 degrees, and if you look on top of Old Main, that is a beautiful blue shade of Aggie blue as the Aggies pick up an NCAA tournament win, beating Villanova down in San Diego. Stockton Jukes, J.D. Walker with you. Jalen Moore is doing what Jalen Moore does, coaching basketball practice for the future of Cache Valley. Thought it would be good to get you guys the post-game comments and everything that was going. Thanks to Scotty and Ajay for getting all that set up. But right now, if you guys want to tee off on what you saw in the matchup, 435-554-1175. That's 435-554-1175. In Stockton, man, it was a game. I chewed 5 packs of Hubba Bubba Bubba Gum. My jaw feels like it's going to pop off. I was nervous throughout the whole thing. At one point, I thought it was done, but these Aggies fought back. Stockton, just proud of this Utah State team from the coaching staff all the way down. Just a complete effort. And, man, you can talk about Mason, you can talk about MJ, and we will. But, man, talk about a coming-out party for Adlin Elamine, the under and over, the athleticism, just an incredible performance. Throw that in with some of the posterizing dunks. A great start for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think Adlin just made himself 7 figures next season. Ooh. My goodness, that's going to be a hard bill to pay next year. But I'm just so impressed with the resilience of this team to come out and take a couple of chin shots right out of halftime, go down 10. A couple big momentum threes for Villanova at a couple different points in those first 5 minutes of the second half, and it just felt like they were never going to miss. I mean, they finished 14 for 30 from 3. They made 2 less threes than we attempted in the entire game. Like, they shot the ball like crazy from out there. For a team that shot 35.3% from 3 on the season, 46.7%, the trend continues of teams just shooting out of their minds against Utah State. And it wasn't even like we weren't giving them quality open looks either. They were shooting from 25, 30 feet and just insane prayers that were banking in, just dropping left and right.
They were moving the ball a lot, too. They were making that extra pass like our Aggies do and getting some of that.
And their kickouts were very good.
Yeah, and so they were hitting some shots that were just, it was like, no way, and they just drained it. But the Aggies able to hold on. Going to interweave some text in and out of our commentary here. No Jalen Moore joining us today. 6591 texting during the game. A little bit of a broadcast announcement. Our streaming through our app and our website, the NCAA holds the streaming rights, and it's outside of outside of this building. Who we contract with is Learfield. They don't allow the streaming of the NCAA games on apps or on our website. You have to get it from their official sponsor. You can listen to it over the air here on KVNU. Our program director, Will Philwright, is Johnny on the spot. As soon as tip goes, we have to turn it off. As soon as the game ends, it comes right back on. So be able to hear all the post-game comments like we heard from Coach Calhoun, Mason, and a couple other of the guys. So just a heads up on that. 0512 with a simple text. Wow. I think that's how a lot of us are feeling today, Stockton. I think a little shock here because we get extra Aggie basketball. The Aggies made a huge statement. I mean, I've got to tell you, from the Mountain West tournament on to right now, this Utah State team playing its best basketball of the year.
Oh, 100%. And it's such a different feeling around just the team in general from what it was last season. I remember going into the tournament, we talked about this a little bit in pregame, but going into the tournament off some bad losses, some poor form. Ian Martinez just really fell off a cliff at the end of the season last year. I think he only had 3 or 4 points in our game against UCLA last March, and it was just you just kind of felt sick the whole time that we were playing. But even when we took some of those punches, even when Villanova went on some of those runs, I never really felt that stressed out. I just had a feeling, the runs are going to work themselves out. We didn't regress all the way back to the mean in the second half, but Villanova, their shooting, their offense slowed down for the final 10 minutes of that game. At one point in the second half, with 10:09 to go or something like that, they were shooting 71.4% from the field in the second half.
They went on a monster run that the Aggies were able to weather and battle back. Text line open at 435-554-1175. We're here on Aggie Call, 435-554-1175. 6021, the best thing is the win, but a BYU loss. Go Aggies. I will say this. In 2026, there is only one team in the state of Utah that has an NCAA tournament win, and it is, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know what Utah's NIL budget was, but I'm going to say bang for the buck. Utah State Aggies are the best ROI in the state of Utah, if not the Mountain West Conference.
Oh, yeah. Well, in Utah's case, there is no bang for your buck if you finish last in the Big 12 and don't even make a postseason tournament. But, yeah, Utah State, hard to argue, best team in Utah now in the 2025 to 2026 season. Won their conference tournament, won a tournament game, won it by double digits, beat their last 4 opponents in the postseason by a plus 58 margin over 4 games, which is an average of about 14.7 points per game, margin of victory. You can't argue with the numbers. I mean, we were arguing last season about Utah State was better than BYU early in the season, and that flipped about January. Same thing happened this year, the other way around.
Absolutely. On the text line, 435-554-1175, one of the stats that really stuck out to 1326. Thanks for screenshotting this and bringing it in. Unbelievable poise for the Aggies, especially we got punched in the second half in the face. Stats are so wild for this game. Villanova made 14 threes, but it looks like they only made 6 free throws. Yep. The Aggies made 2 threes, and if you would have told me that before the game, I would have panicked.
We were 0 for 6 when we made less than 4 threes in the tournament.
2 threes, but get this. The Bunnies made the difference. 28 made free throws.
For 37, by the way. 37 chances at the free throw line. And I'm seeing a couple of angry Villanova fans on the internet about it. Well, they got to shoot 37 fouls. Well, stop fouling three-point shooters.
I thought the game was called pretty straight because at one point I checked it and there was only 26 fouls, and I had to keep refreshing because I was like, oh, not Mountain West officials.
Yep, 35 total at the end of this one. 21 against Villanova, 14 against us.
But
you see what happens when you get to play physical basketball?
It's a little bit different, and it also unlocked a little Gary. It did. Up next, we've got 9315, best day ever, but Sunday will be even better when we give Arizona the scars of losing. The Aggies' whole team willed themselves to win. Mason, top, an example and a missionary tool for the church. He loved that he talked about the Lord in the broadcast. Yeah, he does that all the time. I love it. I love that said, I had 5 certain annoying BYU fans on social say USU was going to lose. Yeah, it's honestly 4th grade. My dad can beat your dad up kind of stuff. MJ with some amazing point plays. I wanted to bring that up because here, let me find that real quick because this is where Stockton Jukes in the conference room at the Radio Ranch told me it was all over and the A was going to be blue. Take a listen.
And he knocked it down. Oh, it's picked off. Collins.
That, my friends, is when Stockton Jukes stood up and declared that the Aggies were going to take the victory. Some big dunks, some big plays in the game. Thanks for 9315 for those. That MJ dunk was amazing. 0783, still get in. We got 554-1175. That's 435-554-1175. 0783, it was a sweet run at the end to pull away. It's an understatement to say we enjoyed it a lot more than the NFL on Fox analyst Howie Long, was a Villanova alum. Yeah, I can imagine. He also played for the Raiders for a long time. I don't know if he won a championship with the Raiders. I think it's been a while. Up next on the text line. Okay, did we get that one during the game? No. I think that was pregame. I cried a little when we beat TCU 2 years ago. I'm not crying today. We expected this outcome. We expect to compete and win tomorrow. I will cry if we beat Arizona. Hey, I've been watching some of these other games that are going on. Anything can happen tournament time.
It's March, buddy.
Yeah, we've seen it. High Point University, the university that has an interior of an executive jet on their campus.
I've been told it's the Grand Canyon of the East.
Well, they prepare their students for business. And everything. And man, the student radio call from those guys, I'm big fans. It can happen. That's what we love about. That's why it's not just the NCAA March tournament. It's March Madness, because madness ensues. You have a freshman that just showed out in his first round game, and the Aggies now moving to the round of 32. 8968. All right. 8968. The only hate I'm going to throw your way is jealousy, because from the text and the picture you sent, you were behind the Utah State bench cheering on the Aggies. Great game here in San Diego. All the heat you're getting from me is just jealousy, my friend. That is awesome. Way to be down there. 6863, lots of love for the coach on the broadcast. Yeah, I mean, it's been an adjustment.
It's one of the scariest things about playing in the tournament, man, is you get exposed for the powerhouse that you are.
Yeah.
People start to pick up on names that are important for Utah State, and they say, hey, we want to bring that name over here.
And that's where you're going to see. Also, don't fall into the clickbait, because you're gonna see a lot of people say, hey, Calhoun's now going to be our guy, and hey, he's going to bring this Mason kid along with him. That's not the thing.
They're saying that because it's the first time they've learned those names before.
And it's all clickbait, and it's to get you to interact. And there's a couple guys, when I see stuff, that I reach out on instant because I don't like to get into it. I just like to back off. But sometimes I see something, and I know we have a couple, Aggies out there that like to, light the pitchforks and torches on fire and go get some people. So I send them that way. But really just let everything come and just enjoy it. Live it up, because a lot of the programs that are going to be coming at you for your coach and your star players are the ones that don't have a team to cheer for right now, or are cheering for the Cinderellas.
There's a lot of receipts getting pulled out on BYU fans, UNLV fans, Nevada fans, even some San Diego State fans. I will say, though, a lot of the Aztec fans were very vocal about supporting Utah State today and being there in their building to support the Pack, and I respect the heck out of that.
So Magoon Gwath's Hype Channel, the Magoon Gwath commander, he actually was in there posting pictures yesterday of the open practice. Aztec Tracker said this is Utah State hype page. Like, there's a lot of camaraderie between the Pac-12 schools supporting, and I love that. Unfortunately, BYU is putting on their University of Utah baseball jerseys at this point in the season. 5344, decent performance. Would have loved to see more effort from Tucker. Hard to win when you don't get your shooters going.
Tucker didn't play.
Yeah, I didn't think Tucker made it in. It was a very tight rotation.
He had some great bench sellies, though. He let him dangle after Mason's mid-range jumper in the last few minutes of the game.
I know, like, the way this played, I really felt like you saw Gary Clark have more of an impact, because it was a little less ticky-tacky on the big man calls. Like, maybe the officials we had in the Mountain West need to go to big man school, so they can understand how these big guys move, and how, if you bump them a little bit, it can sound like an earthquake. But you got to let them kind of work it out. Text line open, 435-554-1175. We're going to go ahead and take a break, come back, and get more of your text. The text line open, 435-554-1175. We've already heard post-game from Coach Calhoun and the players. They are headed back to the hotel to prepare for Arizona. We hope to get a tip time for that coming up this evening after all the games wrap up. Going to take a break here on Aggie Call. We'll be back after this.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Summers, owner of Master Auto Tech in Brigham City and Logan. You know, alignment issues aren't always obvious, but if your steering wheel isn't straight and your car pulls to one side, or your tires are wearing unevenly, chances are you are out of alignment. Right now, Master Auto Tech is offering a 4-wheel alignment for just $80. We've got 25 locations across Utah, including Logan, Brigham City, and Ogden. We'll make sure it's done right the first time. Bring it in. We'll take care of you.
Your trusted, helpful expert, Master Auto Tech.
Hey, it's JD here, and with the new year comes that familiar feeling of wanting a fresh start. We all make resolutions: eat better, be healthier, do better, but for some, the resolution that matters most is getting sober. That's why I want to tell you about Renaissance Ranch. They specialize in a faith-based, clinically proven addiction recovery. They know what it takes to break free for good. Call or visit renaissanceranch.net and make this the year that addiction no longer controls your story. Renaissance Ranch, hope, healing, and recovery.
If you live in Box Elder County, help for ear, nose, and throat issues just got a whole lot closer. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is now open in their new Brigham City location. With over 75 years of combined provider experience, Dr. Jackson Deere is ready to care for allergies, asthma, sinus problems, hearing loss, and more. Finally, Cache Valley ENT in the Brigham City community at 990 South Medical Drive next to the Brigham City Hospital. Call 753-7880 to schedule or visit CacheValleyENT.com. Cache Valley ENT, trusted care now in Brigham City.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Medicare can seem complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Let us help. We'll answer all your questions and get you specific information that fits your needs. Medicare is not one size fits all. We'll help you find the right coverage for you. Call 752-9493. You can ignore the TV and the junk mail. We'll get you the exact information you need. We will help you access the benefits that are important to you. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493.
Imagine your wedding day. Elegant, simple, yet stunning, stress-free. It's your day. It's all about you. Whether you're looking for small and simple or have a grander idea, the Riverwoods Conference Center will accommodate your every need. Choose the inside ballroom elegance or outside along the natural decor of the beautiful Logan River. A Riverwoods event planner will work personally with you to make sure your event is exactly how you've envisioned it. The Riverwoods Conference Center, where your happily ever after begins. Google Riverwoods Conference Center or call 750-5151.
KVNU Game Day continues with Aggie Call. Your chance to talk about today's game. Call 435-753-KVNU or text 435-554-1175.
Don't mind us, we're just dancing the night away under that blue A as the Aggies pick up a win over Villanova in the NCAA Tournament. 435-554-1175. Stockton Jukes, J.D. Walker with you here on Aggie Call. The text line open right now, 435-554-1175. We need to jump back in the text line. What you got?
I just have to bring this up. BetMGM on Twitter right now is catching bodies on our behalf. I can't believe what I'm watching, but they're throwing so much shade at BYU right now. This is awesome. I love today. This is great. Anyway, back to the KVNU text line on Aggie Call. Brought to you, of course, by Primrose Home Health and Hospice, exceptional home care in the comfort of your own home, and by RE/MAX Peaks, your local trusted real estate company. 5822 says, go Aggies. What an awesome win. I love this team. Calhoun. Let's go beat Arizona. A poet.
Yeah, I love it. In fact, we should probably frame that one up and get it autographed because I love the Calhoun chants. I love the Carson Templin chants. But, man, what a great feeling right now. The Aggies moving on to the round of 32. Yes, it's the Arizona Wildcats, but you know what? It's madness for a reason. And
it's March.
These games have been really close. You've seen, Georgia, I don't think even got on the team plane to head out and play. I don't know about some of the other guys, but the Wildcats also were not tested in their game against Liberty. They just kind of did whatever they wanted.
Liberty.
Hey, was it Liberty?
It was someone. It was
Liberty.
Comparable. Who was it? Long Island.
Oh, Long Island Iced Tea University?
Yes. The battle for the iced teas. Arizona wins. It's because their cans are 99 cents.
And the Long Island iced teas get you a DUI out there.
Hey, they have them for $5 in Texas, though.
2603. Nice win. Fun to watch. What does our recruiting look like? This win has to help that. No, I haven't really heard much on the recruiting class. Stockton, you got any ideas?
It's always good to win a tournament game and be a competitive team. I mean, especially when you take down a brand like Villanova. I've seen their championship-winning shot on replay for the last 2 days from 2018.
During the commercial break.
They were national champions 8 years ago. So that's a notable win for Utah State. So, yeah, it's going to help. What is going to hurt, though, is the entire country just got put on the Adlin Elamine show. So that's going to be tough. And I think I'm going to echo what I said a couple weeks ago during the Mountain West tournament, but I think wherever Calhoun is coaching next season is where Adlin Elamine is playing.
It could be that. I could see that. Also, I think with one of the things with recruiting, if you realize the class that we just brought in was the greatest class in Utah State history, also the transfer portal, the graduating seniors, see what's going to shuffle down. Still a whole lot to go to work that out. But you can guarantee Coach Calhoun and company, they're working on it. We've heard things behind the scenes, nothing concrete and nothing we're going to really put out there because it would just be hearsay and speak. But there is activity moving behind the scenes. The administration, the president, the athletic director at Utah State are not just sitting there twiddling their thumbs while we hear all this news. Things are being done, conversations are being had, and we'll hear about those over the coming weeks. Back to the text line 5662 here on KVNU. Roller coaster of a game. What a run to end it. Can't beat a tournament win. Adlin played great. MJ solid down the stretch. We don't win without that game without Drake. Let's give Arizona all they can handle. Stockton, I tell you, I saw him getting on the plane. He had that car carrier hooked. I'm all about one of my favorite thing is being a husband and a dad. I will always support these student athletes. Seeing Drake become a dad and just the everything, it's hard not to root for him. But, man, I tell you what, getting some of that minivan mojo has really worked for Drake.
He's going to have a monster poster called by Kevin Harlan to show his kids for the rest of his life. That's pretty sick.
Dude,
that's pretty sick.
And he just went down the lane and just took it in. It was, there's so many amazing dunks by Adlin. And MJ had a couple posters, but Drake with that one, just huge. 3799, what's up?
I want to talk about the run to end that game, too, for Utah State, because I think these numbers kind of slipped through a little bit. 15-3 run to end the game, the last few minutes of that game, I think after the under 8 timeout, somewhere in there. And in the final 12:45 of that game, Utah State only missed 2 shots from the field. 2.
Dang. That, in crunch time, they're executing. 3799, the text line open for you at 435-554-1175, 435-554-1175. We don't make excuses at USU, but the fact this team, which was the best in a good league and wire-to-wire, won its conference tournament, checked in advanced analytics boxes all year, was placed on the 9-8 line, which is a joke. Committee loves to overseed when there's wonder why there's not a lot of tournament success. This is a Sweet 16 caliber squad, and we'll give Arizona all they can handle.
It's a good time for me to hop back on my soapbox from the pregame because I feel like a lot more people are listening now. Here's what I've learned from the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. Sorry, I'm still in Mountain West mode. The metrics that the committee uses to seed teams are BS. They are designed to protect undeserving P4 teams in that middle seeding line like Georgia to get them into a tournament they don't deserve to be in over really good mid-major teams. The metrics are slanted by the strength of schedule metric that everyone thinks matters, but that is completely subjective and made up by these people that assume that the ACC, the Big East, all these conferences, all these schools in those conferences are just inherently better than a team like Utah State, San Diego State, New Mexico. San Diego State, New Mexico should be in the tournament this weekend. But all this to say, they really need to rework how they seed teams, what metrics qualify you for certain seeds and for the tournament at large. At-large bids need to be reevaluated entirely. And the net ranking system, the strength of schedule crap that we all have to hear about every year needs to go away because it doesn't matter. And we are seeing that in real time.
And it's amazing. It's almost like the college football playoff projections that start in August. It's like every week these are to live and die by. But when you get into this time of year, it's really being highlighted by some of these matchups. You know, mid-majors doing really well, and if they've got true seeding, and as we would see through the metrics and the analytics, you'd probably see more mid-majors make deeper runs.
Just to help prove that point, 9 seeds, 3-0 in the tournament right now. St. Louis beat the living crap out of Georgia last night. It was like 100 and something to 70 something. Utah State by 10 over Villanova. TCU wins a nail-biter over Ohio State. Those are two P4 teams going at it. And then Iowa, the other 9 seed, is up 10 on Clemson, 22-12 with 6 to go in the first. So this 8-9 seed line and who gets what and how they determine these seeding, like everything needs to be reimagined after this.
Whoa. I did not search for it, but it came up on my feed. The BetMGM tweet, it's simple. BYU, $12 million roster. Utah State, $1.5 million roster. Guess which one is headed to the second round. Whoa. Man, we didn't even have to do that. MGM decided to do that, the Lion.
Oh, yeah, no. National betting brands are arguing against BYU on our behalf right now. Do you understand how far this brand has come?
That is
Do you understand? Oh, my goodness.
We don't even allow gambling in the state, and we've got one BetMGM sticking up for the Aggies and saying, hey, look at how they make the return on investment.
If you were watching Utah State basketball in the mid-2000s and someone told you that Kevin Harlan was going to call a tournament win by 10 over Villanova for Utah State, and then the national Vegas brands that determine all the betting lines were going to start fighting BYU on the internet on your behalf, you'd probably have a seizure and die on the spot.
Just a crazy sports day going on. Text line still open, 435-554-1175, 9836. I was at the game. The Aggies were down, and I watched the Herd walk down the stairs and take their place by the band, and the game totally shifted. The Herd really is the sixth man. You could hear him. You could hear him on the broadcast calling it out. Go Big Blue. Some of the other chants that we hear up here at the Spectrum. I got to say, props to the students for making the trip down there and the other Aggie alums supporting the team. Really, really, really makes a difference. 6001, one of the best Aggie games I've seen in my life. Love the Aggies. Going to donate to the program.
I suggest you either donate $86 for every point Utah State scored in the Mountain West, or in the NCAA tournament today, or you donate 10, which was their margin of victory, which is a little more reasonable for someone like me, and that's probably what I'm going to do when I get home.
Yeah, everybody can get involved, and it's really... It's something I don't talk about much because they've got fundraising and all the stuff up there. Now, when it comes to the student-athletes trying to get to the game, I'm going to share that a little bit more with you guys to help them get there. But if you want to get involved with the program, they're running the Show Me campaign. There's a lot of stuff, and there's pride in something you invest in. And it takes all levels to make it happen in a program like Utah State. So if you want to get involved, I know there's several ways you can to support the athletes.
There's something cool, too, that I'm not sure a ton of people noticed after we beat San Diego State last weekend, but SMU fans were donating like $84 to the Big Blue Fund because Utah State's win over San Diego State kept their bubble hopes alive, and they got to play Miami in that play-in. So
yeah, maybe they wish they didn't make those donations.
Well, Miami got wiped by Tennessee today, so it wouldn't have mattered for them anyway. But it's just, one of the ways to reaffirm your support and reaffirm your passion for this program is get involved financially, because we've been talking about it for the last several years. Financials are the game now. That is the NCAA.
It is. The university needs to step up.
They need to get involved in revenue sharing.
Because I'm going to protect the community of the Aggie family community that works hard every day for their dollars and stuff, and say the university needs to get in. And I hear revenue sharing's coming in next season. Cam Walker mentioned that with Scotty. I am also going to realize that our audience works very hard for their money. So you're not going to get a pressure sell from me to support financially the program. I'm going to say, if you feel like you should, go ahead and do it. But the full court pressure for me is not going to be there. But it's important
I'm not trying to pressure anyone into making a donation.
No, I'm just throwing that out as a disclaimer. I don't believe you're doing that at all. But that's just my tenet of this thing. I would my supporting is like you doing your calling stuff, the student athletes and stuff. But anybody can get involved. If you want to support the program, please do. Know that there's ways. I also very vocal about when the Herd does fundraisers and stuff, because I think that is a really mainline way to support and impact the student experience for everybody. But any way you want to get involved, I would totally encourage you. But it's a very personal thing to separate from your money. So I just guess that's the disclaimer. But you're right. The NIL, the support, the Big Blue Fund, we see it being supported by other teams, students, community. Mr. Lobb has been very beneficial to this program, and it takes everybody doing what they can, whether it's and I'm excited because it's more like I'm more likely to share financially on it knowing that Utah State, the university, is now revenue sharing back into the programs in the future.
Well, it sounds like that's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
That's where they're trying to get. I have full faith in Cam Walker and what he's going to be able to do for that. But yeah, I agree. Like if financially it's going to strain you to donate $10 to the program, just don't do it.
Yeah,
just don't. It's not that important. It's a game at the end of the day. I work very hard for my expendable income as well. I cover 9 different teams for Utah State and do this show, do high school sports, do Mountain West Network stuff.
I'm pretty sure you're on the air 24 hours a day somewhere.
I do my best. I've got a little over 400 broadcasts under my belt now as an undergrad, so not too bad. But I feel really impassioned about this basketball team right now, and I feel like it's a good use of $10. It's not going to make a huge dent on its own, but the community at large has done a great job of this grassroots fundraising in so many different ways for the school. And while I do think the university and department needs to step in as well, I feel like this is a good use of my money today.
Absolutely. And that is the goal in the future. It sounds like the university do it. 8968, I think, supports that. Well, all I can say about this Utah State's team is they didn't spend as much as a team down south of Utah State. We spent it well. That's something I can tell you. When you give to this program, it feels like there is a fiduciary responsibility from everybody that's involved. You've heard Coach Calhoun call out his guys saying he's making $700,000 a year. He needs to make his free throws. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that shows me that you're not getting kind of just a flashy, dashy kind of payment. 1724, first-time texter here on Aggie Call. Thank you so much. I don't know the NCAA eligibility rules, but I think the mayor should play QB for the Aggies when he gets done with basketball. He'll make more money than playing QB than he will as a financial analyst. I think Mason has a future in professional basketball after this. I'm not sure if it's the NBA, but definitely seeing how some of our other guys, Dexter Acano, Aubin Galarazzi is having a huge year overseas. Of course, Justin Bean and company. I mean, watching these guys play, of course, Nimi and Sam Merrill, I don't think the mayor is short. And also, I would hold my breath every time Mason got sacked or hit because I swear, him and Bryson Barnes, has anybody ever seen them in the same spot at the same time? Because I swear they play with the same heart and the same drive. I feel like Mason would pull the ball down as a quarterback for the Aggies and try to run for the first time down every time, and he will not slide.
Oh, I think he and Bryson took equal amounts of contact throughout their seasons this year.
In fact, if you think about it, as many times as Mason went down, that might be it. He might need one of the Guardian caps that they wear in the NFL. Man, but it was nice to see an officiated game where they did the egregious stuff, they called it. 435-554-1175. The text line open now, 8852. First-time texter. Pretty sure I was sweating the whole game, but what a win. What are the keys to success if we're going to beat Arizona?
Play the best basketball game this program has ever played in the history of basketball.
And stick to the game plan. What works?
Yeah, here's the thing, too, that I'm kind of mulling over at the end of this game is we beat Villanova by 10 on 2 for 16 3-point shooting.
I don't think that's going to happen Sunday.
No, we did all right given everything that we had. If we can hit a couple of those threes, if we can get hot from 3 like Villanova did today, I don't know. Anything's on the table because Arizona is as good as they are, and as much as I still firmly believe that they're going to win the national championship this year, there is a path to victory against this team. There always is. They played Long Island today. It's not much of a warm-up. They've only lost 2 games this season, but they lost them, back-to-back on days where they just weren't shooting their best. Usually they need to get up above the 80-85 mark to really feel secure about the game. And granted, they're beating their opponents by huge margins. But you look at when they go to Kansas, you look at when they play Texas Tech at home, holding them under that 80 mark seems to be kind of the only way to go about doing it. Now, granted, this team hasn't lost to a team ranked lower than 16 all season. They've smoked several ranked teams. Arizona's the team that BYU thinks they are in the Big 12. And they're a very talented team. Season averages 86 points per game, 50% from the field, 74% from the free throw line, 36% from 3. Like, it's a beatable team, but it's a very talented, very deep team. And we'll talk more about it on Sunday, but Utah State has to do everything perfect to beat them.
Utah State has now run 29 games more for the third time in program history. The school record set back in 2008-2009 with 30 wins. This ties the 2010-2011 team for 29 wins with the third most in Utah State history. Also, Utah State is now 8-27 all time in the NCAA tournament and has advanced around to 32 for the second time in the past 2 years, or 3 years, pardon me. Up next on the text line, we're going to be rolling through these 554-1175, and also as soon as we get the game time for Sunday, we'll start putting out announcements and stuff, and we'll have an audio announcement here on KVNU to let you know that we're going to be able to what time we're going on. I imagine we'll start at the whole hour. We're not going to do a 10-minute start, so we'll have an extra edition of Aggie Game Day, which I looked at you as we were going into our final segment. I said, man, this might be our last one of the season to go, but we got one more. I will say that AC/DC's, for those about to rock and take it easy from the Eagles, won a Mountain West championship in the regular season, won the tournament championship, and now has an NCAA March Madness win under its belt.
Don't forget about Sirius.
Yeah, what?
Don't forget about Sirius.
Yeah, the Alan Parson Project is on like a 5-game win streak right now. So we've got some superstitions in the Aggie bumps.
I'm wearing this exact same outfit on Sunday. It's going in the washer right now.
I'm sorry, honey. I'm not sure my undergarments are going to be changing until Sunday. My family's going to make me sleep out on the porch. 0812 on the text line. I wish the good game against Arizona on Sunday. I'm proud of the win today. Absolutely agree with that. 0606 with a couple of texts in here. Nice to see you. We talked to you back in February. I'm so happy, but listening to Calhoun's message, he was mad being a 9 seed. Does that mean winning a regular season conference championship mean anything anymore? Hopefully the Pac will make it mean something. I think he's mad at the seeding just because of the matchup and stuff.
Yeah.
That 8-9 seed then gets to play the 1 in the round of 32. And I feel like the Aggies may have earned more of a favorable matchup is what Calhoun's talking about.
Yes, because now we have to go play Arizona in the second round. This is many people are saying it across the country right now. Utah State's a Sweet 16 team that got screwed on seeding. You got to go play Arizona now, who a lot of people have winning this entire tournament, where if you're a 7 seed, like let's say that you're the West 7 seed Miami playing Missouri today, you move on through the bracket. Your next game is the 2 seed in the West region, who would be Purdue. That's not great. But still, that Purdue is not the same team that knocked us out 2 years ago after we beat TCU. And
But if you got a 6 seed, then you got to play a Texas team that's already had to play the plan, and you should have a little bit easier,
Well, and this is why I think we just got an interesting text in here from 4147 with some stuff I'm going to dive into later, just about selection bias and metrics and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that there will be time for those discussions later on. It's just really frustrating to have, a 28-6 team, conference champions, regular season champions, metrically top 30 in KenPom, top 27 in net, all this stuff. You do all the things that the metrics say you need to do during the season. You focus on all the numbers. You get into the rankings you need to, and you still get put on the 9 line. This team is better than Utah State was when they had the 8 seed in the tournament. And for some reason, we're pulling a 9 seed in this, beat Villanova by 10. The 9 seeds are looking like they're going 4-0 in the first weekend of the tournament. Like it's just something's got to change, because maybe you get a little boost having Gonzaga on your metrics next season.
You will.
In the pack.
San Diego State, Boise State, Utah State, and Gonzaga, like the Mountain West. Okay,
it's going to boost a little bit, but it's still going to be subject to the mid-major disrespect, because people aren't really buying the whole Pac-12 being a power conference thing, which I get it. It's not proven yet. We haven't got there yet, but it's frustrating for Utah State to be a top 30 team in the country and get treated like, they're in the back half of the field of 64 when they're just not.
So the best way to handle that is to
keep winning.
Yeah, exactly. 0500, getting in some of the last texts here on Aggie Call, 435-554-1175. My brother-in-law is a huge U of A Wildcat fan. He lived there for years. We have been rooting for U of A and USU. Little did we realize that our teams would meet in the second round. You know what? 0500, nobody is going to blame you or condemn you for who your sister chose to marry. It's all right. Yeah, hopefully he still has time to come around before Sunday afternoon. 4139 up next on the text line. One of the great wins in school history, and you clowns can't go 15 seconds without mentioning BYU. Oh, okay. Well,
we have a salty Provo fan. That's okay.
The text line says it there, 4139.
We have to read the text verbatim. That's kind of what we do.
Yeah, and if it's relevant to Utah State, and BetMGM says it, but hey, that's okay. Like, I like my clown car, my clown nose with my 2026 tournament win for the Utah State Aggies. You know what? It'll be great. The NBA draft's in June. I'm pretty sure you guys will hear BYU called first. I mean, that'll be a great selection show for you. 0158, moving on. I can still beat Carson Templin in a basketball game. We'd pay for that. We'd like to see the NIL. Up next, we've got 6391.
It's about the MGM feed.
Texted in a little bit. We got that one coming up. But pay him my respects at the Spectrum after the game. Go Aggies. Love that. Look at BetMGM's feed. There are multiple tweets like that. I agree. Oh, hey, just a heads up, 4139. I'm going to be a clown again. Afro. So I'm going to lean into it. I was here in this chair 12 hours ago.
Hey, man, if clowns win tournament games, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'll put a big red nose on. Hey, they can call me Bozo. 8824, we've got a text come in. $12 million is about $3 million light on the Cougs roster payroll. Hey, they're talking about it, so I'm sorry, 4139. 6521, we've got a couple of texts that look like come in here. I remember you talking pregame last week. It was Bobby Perfect. Man, I just... That is so cool. Like I'm afraid one of these days I'm going to get a restraining order against Bobby, but it really comes to the fact that I love Bobby as a Seahawk in the Super Bowl championship. The team me and my dad grew up rooting together, and right after he passed away, the team won the championship. It means a lot to me. But what means more is because of Bobby, I knew what Cache Valley was. I knew what Utah State was. And I'm watching my family thrive. I'm watching me enjoying some of the greatest things I've gotten to do in my radio career. So, I totally get that. Also went on 6521, Kevin Harlan's good luck charm. Remember, he's the big fish against TCU. Also big fish's Hawaii career coming to an end. Probably overseas or something, but props to Big Fish there.
That gif of him sliding across the floor has been in my recently used for like 2 years now.
Up next, 9567. Appreciate the first time text on the call there. Go Aggies. If Calhoun stays, open up your wallets. We need to keep the coach and the players and get this rolling in the Pac-12. Imagine if we could hit some threes. Love the game. Well done. Go Aggies. How do we donate? I think there's a campaign right now going up. I don't want to get too into it, but usu.edu, if you're looking to support, you can check it out there. I know they've got some matching funds. The Show Me campaign that's going on right now that Cam Walker's big on. You can check out usu.edu. I'm assuming is going to be the website to get up there for 9567. Still time to get in. 435-554-1175. That's 435-554-1175. 9315 with the text in here. Yeah, it was really funny. If you watch the TV broadcast, Villanova coach Kevin Willard, like the first couple minutes of the game when they did a TV timeout interview, he said, quote, "Yeah, I'm going to fire my staff. Yeah, I am. The only thing I'm going to do is fire them and get a new staff." And that was right in the beginning of the game. I think it was just in jest, but interesting. 4147, love the stuff you sent on the biased of the selection and the metrics and stuff. That is definitely something we are going to be checking out. It was a Frank Martin, Jason Whitlock interview regarding UMass's postseason prospects. We're going to check that out. Has Gloria or the Mountain West sent a tweet out? All right.
The Mountain West did. They acknowledged.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't follow them anymore, so I'm trying to. Oh, yeah, they did. No graphic, but they did. Okay. Want to do a couple props because they did shout out Taylor Rath. Props to Taylor. She signed with the Chicago Stars. So USU soccer coach Manny Martin's on the national stage there. They did retweet SportsCenter's 9-seed Utah State was hyped over its win over 8-seed. Of course, you got Mason yelling out, Adlin there throwing up the W. So, yeah, the Mountain West did. For my own mental health, I don't follow Gloria on on anything. 6872. We've got a couple minutes left before we get on out of here. 435-554-1175. We don't have a start time for the game just yet, so we'll be waiting on that at the conclusion of tonight. 6872, first-time texter. Appreciate you listening to Aggie Call. Love this group. Collins behind the back was dirty. Oh, yeah,
oh
it
my
was.
goodness.
We absolutely need donation for more small donors. It's almost like the third rail to talk about it because for years we haven't had to chip in, and it feels weird to pay these kids. Time have changed, and we talk about it. We want to compete with programs with big donors. 6872. I just encourage everybody to look at your financial situation, and if you want to support, do what you can. I mean, you're not just supporting a basketball team because, look, they got an award at the Mountain West Tournament for the community service. The athletic scholars for our teams, like constantly seeing us in the top of the nation in community service hours and also academics. That's something you can be really proud of in supporting this team and these players in the NIL, because it really feels like they're going out for players that are going to fit in the spectrum. With the legacy that's been set by Coach Stu, by Wayne Estes, by Sam, by Nimi, by some of these guys, Justin Bean, that have set the standard for what it is to be a Utah State Aggie. Bobby Wagner, Jordan Love, Robert Turbin, these guys that are now coming back and making calls and talking to these guys pregame. I think it's amazing to support the program. I'm just always going to want to protect our listening audience and not get caught up in the emotion of giving. If you can, if you look at your stuff, do it, because the return of investment, I'm sorry to be a clown again, but the $12 million to $15 million investment, one team down south that we will not mention, versus what's reportedly been invested in this team. And there's more investment coming from the revenue sharing from the university, as Scotty has mentioned with AD Cam Walker. But you're getting a return of investment that's big. This university is very invested into the community and also into academics. It's something I can totally get behind. So 6872, yeah, I tell you what, taking a little army of donations could do amazing things to support. And it also not only supporting these student athletes, but the students up the hill. It just sends a message across the country, across the world, that Utah State, this community, supports our student athletes and supports our students with so much love and so much more than just financial stuff, too. But you're right. It is time to jump on up. 0606. Looks like we got a couple more. Selection committee in all sports love power conferences. Yeah.
And listen, a lot of it is money driven too. Like, right, you have more fans of these power schools. You have more visibility for them, which in turn generates more ticket revenue, ad revenue, sales revenue, all sorts of stuff. So there's the NCAA is a business. It's not really about competition is not the heart of their business plan anymore. It's about how can we make the most money. That's the reality.
0606 with a why the heck is a BYU basketball fan listening to us? Because they don't have any hoops to pay attention to. So if you want to follow basketball in the state of Utah right now, and the team that's still alive in the NCAA tournament, it's the Utah State Aggies, or bust. I mean, or, I hear BYU, you can listen to the NBA draft coming up in June. I think you'll hear your school's name called once. Up next, we got 6872. Thanks for the great response. Love supporting high-character athletes. That's what I believe we see. I really do. I love Mason. I love his how he's outspoken about his faith. But it's not just being outspoken about it. I believe he walks it in everything I see, too. I believe that about MJ. I believe that about Adlin. Drake. I love seeing the dad vibes coming from Drake as he's, realizing that these guys are still, 18, and some of them up to 24, 25. Just we have a unique situation where we have a send and go guys on scholarship to go to mission and stuff like that. But also we've got young kids. Adlin's 18. He was playing high school ball a year ago. I mean, this is just a dynamic group of kids, and it really seems like from the top down, President Mortensen, Cam Walker, and Coach Calhoun, we've seen so much hype with these guys at the Mountain West Tournament and all this stuff. We didn't see any of that with the previous AD, the previous president. I feel like Utah State Athletics is on the way up. and the money's coming, the donations, the revenue sharing's coming up. Stockton, it's a great time to be an Aggie fan.
It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. We're heading into a bigger, better conference that will serve us better metrically in situations like this. It will increase the revenue coming into the program. It'll increase the national visibility of the programs with more linear TV coverage. It's like there's just so many good things happening right now. We've got very competent, very passionate leadership up on the Hill.
Dude, Mortensen was in face paint.
Yeah. Everything's humming right now. Especially from where we were a year ago, everything is humming right now.
I'm really excited. I mean, I know Goliath waits on Sunday. I know it's that thing. I know we're going to be probably large underdogs, but I tell you what, when this team has had a point spread that's been a large underdog, or they've been doubted, or they've been disrespected, Stockton, this team comes back and does something pretty incredible.
Yeah. Listen, I think they're just a very good basketball team. And do I think that they're going to get past Arizona on Sunday? To be blunt, I don't. And that's okay, because I think we've put together a fantastic basketball season. We have a lot to be proud of. We got out of the first round. We got that tournament win. 2-1 in the first round over the last 3 years, 4 consecutive tournament bursts with 3 different head coaches. We had one text come in asking about if Calhoun made any mention of if he's leaving or not. Nope, and he won't until the end of the game Sunday, if then, maybe even later. There's certainly things that he needs to think about and consider once he has time to breathe when the season's over, but it sounds like he's going to be reviewing tape for the next 36 hours. So, we won't hear about that for a couple days. And like we said in the pregame when we were talking to Jalen, whether he goes, whether he stays, we're going to be just fine.
Absolutely. 4 straight years of 25-plus wins. 8-6-3-2. Johnny on the spot. We're only 12.5-point underdogs. They're saying there's a chance. And look, this team is deep. We did not see Tucker come off the bench. We've got some guys that can play ball. And we've got some experienced veterans that now have 2 wins in the Mountain West tournament. And playing Arizona, look, if you want to rely on metrics, we just wouldn't have shown up when they gave us the 9th seed. We embraced the 9th seed. The guys handled. We've seen them battle all year and come back in close games. They were able to do that. I'm not scared of a 12.5-point dog at this point with this team. The ball's got to play, and this team is playing in a familiar arena. Not sure how many times Arizona has gone down to Vijas and played, but I like the chances. If it was a lost cause from the start, then why show up? Just lean on the metrics and let the metrics decide who the national champion is. And if that was the case, they'd already called it. They thought Villanova was a better seed, a better season than the Aggies, and gave them the 8th seed. And the Aggies, at the 9th seed, handled business with a 10-point win. So maybe that point spread should be a little less. It'll be interesting to see by the time Sunday rolls around to see where it's at.
Let's go ahead and go over the numbers from the guys before we get out of here for the evening. Go enjoy this weekend. I feel like the LeBron meme right now, or can't stop smiling, can't believe this is my life. But here are your numbers for your Aggies tonight. 7 for Gary Clark, quietly off the bench, 15 minutes for him. 4 rebounds, only 1 turnover on a bad pass in the first half. He got it together after that. Plus/minus 13 on the day. 2 for 2 from the field, 3 for 4 from the free throw line. Solid stuff from him, and good physical rebounding, good physical defense down low that really helped keep Nova away from the paint on offense. Colby had 5 on 1 for 3 shooting, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 fouls, no turnovers. Adlin, 13 points, 4 for 8 from the field, 5 for 5 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 fouls, 3 turnovers. He was a -3 over 30 minutes of gameplay, but had some really big flashes. There were a couple scary moments. He turned the ball over on a weird pickpocket towards the end of the game, but that's just a couple freshman moments that are way overpowered by his talent and his production. 4 from Keller on 1 shot, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 2 fouls. Mason had 22. JD, you knew it. Jalen knew it. I knew it. It was going to be a Mason game today. Had to be. The Mayor got it done. 9 for 16 from the field. Didn't hit a 3, but 4 for 5 from the free throw line. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 foul. Turned the ball over twice. He was a +13 in 35 minutes of gameplay. 11 from Drake on 50% field goal shooting, 3 for 6, 1 for 3 from 3, 4 for 6 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, leading the team, 3 fouls, no turnovers, and 3 steals, which also led the team. And then MJ Collins, rough first 25 minutes for him, but then he saw that that free throw go down. And from there, it was game on. 7 for 12 from the field, 20 points from him. Only hit 1 3 out of 4 attempted, but 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 foul, and a steal to go along with the turnover. He was a +5 over 36 minutes. That was the most time any Aggie spent on the floor this afternoon. And the Aggies win it 86-76 on 55% team shooting, 12.5 from 3, but 76% from the free throw line.
I want to let you know tomorrow night our Aggie ladies are up at Boise at the Extra Mile Arena. The USU gymnastics squad looking to defend its title from last year. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, will be on the Mountain West Network. We will be back on Sunday for the matchup against Arizona as your Aggies make it to the round of 32. We'll have Jalen Moore pregame and postgame on Sunday. As soon as we know the launch time, we'll start getting the word out across social media and also here on KVNU.
Softball and baseball are also in action this weekend. Softball, I'll be over with them at Johnson Field at noon tomorrow against Nevada. And then Club Baseball is hosting the University of Utah in a doubleheader tomorrow, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. They'll play them again on Sunday. Obviously, we'll be here.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for Stockton Jukes. Jay Lamore, I'm J.D. Walker. 78 degrees and beautiful sunshine, and that is at Blue A, marking an NCAA tournament win for our Utah State Aggies. Guys, have a great Friday and Saturday. We'll see you for some dancing on Sunday, and go Aggies.
Utah State broadcast has been a presentation of News Talk KVNU and the Cache Valley Media Group, the heritage home for the Aggies.